bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of bond court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want bond court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.
Jimmy Domingo Rivas, is that your name? Good morning.
Sí.
All right. So the court would my counsel for the state and counsel for the defense, public defender, please announce your presence for the record?
Brenda Eugene on behalf of the State Attorney's Office.
Letitia George on behalf of the Office of the Public Defender.
All right. And I'm Judge Allen, and as we begin this session, as I usually do, I'm appointing the public defender on all cases, aside from cases where the public defender may notify me of any type of conflict or a reason why they should not be appointed. And could I have the spelling of your last names as well? Madam Public Defender and Madam State.
Brenda Eugene, last name Eugene, E-U-G-E-N-E.
Thank you.
And Letitia George, G-E-O-R-G-E.
Thank you both. All right. With regard to your case, Mr. Domingo Rivas, the court does find a probable cause for the charge of battery, domestic violence. At this time, the court will order a bond of $500. Order that you have no contact whatsoever with the victim. The court is ordering that you possess no firearms or weapons as a condition of bond. If you do have personal belongings at the location where the victim resides, you are allowed a one-time visit in the presence of law enforcement to retrieve your personal belongings. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, the interpreter could have a case number, please.
Oh, can I have it back? 2022 MM672AO.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, is this the only case for the interpreter, Your Honor?
One more.
Thanks.
Are you Sonia Rocamarte?
Roque.
Okay. And Mr. Interpreter, this is 2022 MM665AO. Ma'am, the court does find probable cause for your charge of battery, dating violence. And at this time, the court will order a bond of $500. The court will further order that you have no contact whatsoever with the victim, that you possess no firearms or weapons, you surrender any firearms or weapons within 24 hours to law enforcement. You are allowed a one-time visit in the presence of law enforcement to retrieve any personal belongings or effects. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Interpreter, I believe that concludes the interpreter cases this morning.
Very well, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, too. Mr. Craig, is that your name?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Craig, are you over the age of 18, Mr. Craig?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, the court does find probable cause for count 1, aggravated battery on a pregnant person and with domestic violence. And I will order a bond of $3,500. The court does also find probable cause for false imprisonment, domestic violence. I will order a bond of $3,500. And the court finds probable cause for battery, domestic violence by strangulation, and bond is set at $500. As a condition of bond, the court orders no contact whatsoever with the victim. You are allowed a one-time visit in the presence of law enforcement to retrieve any private or personal belongings and effects. Further, You must possess no firearms or weapons as a condition of bond and surrender any firearms or weapons to law enforcement within 24 hours. Thank you, sir. Mr. Bennett, Donald, sir, the court does find probable cause for aggravated assault, domestic violence. Bond is set in your case at $2,500. The court, bond is set in your case at $500. Sorry, sir. The court is ordering that you have no contact with the victim and that you possess no firearms or weapons. You are allowed a one-time visit to retrieve any personal belongings or effects in the presence of law enforcement. Thank you, sir. Mr. Cook, Winton? Sir, the court does find probable cause for the offense of aggravated battery with great bodily harm. The court does set a bond in this case at $3,500. And as a condition of bond, I am ordering that you have no contact whatsoever with the victim, possess no firearms or weapons, surrender any that you have in your possession within 24 hours. The court further will allow you a one-time visit in the presence of law enforcement to retrieve any personal belongings. And thank you, sir. You may exit. Mr. James Cladliff. Mr. Cudliff, the court does find probable cause for the offense of battery by domestic violence, strangulation, and bond is set in your case at $500 with the condition that you have no contact whatsoever with the victim. You are allowed a one-time visit in the presence of law enforcement to retrieve any personal belongings and surrender any firearms or weapons to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Thank you. Mr. Leroy Jean Charles, is that who you are? Okay. The court does find probable cause for aggravated battery, and bond is set at $3,500, and battery bond is set at $500. The court is ordering that you have no contact whatsoever with the victim in this case, possess no firearms or weapons, surrender any in your possession to law enforcement within 24 hours, and you are allowed a one-time visit in the presence of law enforcement to recover any personal belongings or effects. Thank you, sir. Kiera, Ms. Kiera.
I think,
Ms. George, yes, ma'am.
I think there's an issue with with his job, Your Honor. You guys work together, correct?
No. What I'm asking is I need to obtain a badge to go onto the airport deck. My badge was suspended because I was arrested. I had a warrant. So will I be able to return back to
Okay, you're gonna have to call the number because we can't do anything about that, okay?
Ms. Kiera Mannion, Ms. Mannion? Ma'am, is that who you are? Oh, medical, okay.
And I will waive the appearance, Your Honor.
Will you? All right, at this time, the court or finds probable cause as to all counts. Count one. There's a victim in the Mannion case? All right. Ma'am?
Yes.
I think is that for you?
That's,
Okay. That's the next case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, but you're waiving Mannion, so the court finds probable cause as to count one. Bond is set at $5,000. To count two, bond is set at $500. As to count three, bond is set at $500. As to count four, bond is set at $150. As to count five, bond is set at $100, and as to count six, bond is set at $100. The court is ordering no contact with the victim, surrender all firearms or weapons within 24 hours, and one-time visit in the presence of law enforcement.
Your Honor, can I have the case number, please?
Oh, yes. That one is 22 CF 1196A, looks like AO.
Thank you. Your Honor, I apologize one last time. On that last case, she doesn't live there, which is why she was breaking in and what have you, so.
Oh, no, the court will not allow the one-time visit in the presence of law enforcement.
Thank you.
Delete that order. Okay, thank you. Miss Allison Norman? All right, and there's a person over here. Can you raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record. And
Ashley Charles.
Can you spell your last name for the record, please?
CHARLES.
Ms. Charles, I believe one of the attorneys may have some questions for you.
No problem.
Good morning, Ms. Charles.
Good morning.
How do you know the how do you know the defendant?
We were dating.
Has something like this happened before?
Yes.
Were drugs or alcohol involved in this incident?
No, ma'am.
Are you afraid of her?
No, ma'am.
While this case is pending, would you like to have contact with her?
No, ma'am.
Do you live together?
No, ma'am.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Any questions, Ms. Charles?
No questions, Your Honor.
The court does find probable cause for aggravated assault with dating violence. Bond is set in that case at $1,000. Court finds probable cause for false imprisonment. Bond is set at $500. And battery. Bond is set at $500. The court is ordering no contact whatsoever with the victim in this case. Possess no firearms, possess no weapons. Any firearms or weapons must be surrendered to law enforcement within 24 hours of release. I believe the testimony was that they did not reside together. Is that correct?
I moved everything out yesterday.
Oh, you moved out. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No contact whatsoever. All right. Thank you. You may exit. Mr. Moses Pastrana?
Yes.
The court does find probable cause for battery by strangulation. In this case, the court will set bond at $500. Order no. Oh, there's a witness. Ma'am, we're going to need you to raise your right hand to be sworn in.
do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Nasta Echevarria, ECHEVARRIA.
Did you say ECHEVIRARRA?
ECHEVARRIA.
EVAIRRA. Got it. Echevarria?
Yes.
Okay. And the attorneys may have some questions of you, Ms. Echevarria.
Good morning.
Morning.
How do you know the defendant?
We were dating.
Has something like this happened before?
No.
Were drugs or alcohol involved in this incident?
The alcohol.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
While this case is pending, would you like to have contact with him?
No.
And do you live together?
No.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
No questions from defense, Your Honor.
All right, and the court does find probable cause in your case, and the court will, State, what would the state like me to do in this case? You want me to order a bond or PTR?
Your Honor, based on his history, I would ask for a bond, but if you did want to go with PTR, you can do a bond in conjunction with
Okay.
PTRs.
What does it mean when it says risk assessment results high? What does that mean?
The risk assessment, it goes by his history, criminal history, his community ties, and things of that nature. So if it's a high risk, that means
Yeah, I think I want more oversight, so I'm going to do the bond and the PTR. The court, thank you, sir. The court will order a bond of $500, plus the court will also order PTR. The court will order no contact whatsoever with the victim. State, do I need to give him a one-time visit to pick up personal
Live
belongings?
together, Your Honor.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I couldn't remember quite. Oh, did you have something to add, Ms. Echevarria?
All his belongings have been returned to his mom, so there's nothing in the house.
Okay, all right. No contact whatsoever. Possess no firearms or weapons. Surrender any firearms or weapons to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. And did you want me to order something related to the alcohol or nothing, since he doesn't reside with her?
I would still ask for the no alcohol, no drugs, Your Honor.
All right, no alcohol as a condition of your release. And random alcohol monitoring. All right, thank you. All right, thank you.
Your Honor, I will waive the appearance.
All right, as to Vivian Alicia, the court does find probable cause of battery. Bond is set at $500 and orders no contact with the victim, possess no weapons or firearms, one-time visit in the presence of law enforcement to retrieve personal belongings. Thank you. Kenesha Bennett.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Bennett. Court does find probable cause for battery, domestic violence in your case, and I am ordering a $500 bond. I'm ordering that you have no contact with the victim. You possess no weapons or firearms, and you surrender any weapons or firearms to law enforcement within 24 hours. You're allowed a one-time visit in the presence of law enforcement to recover any personal belongings or effects. So thank you. Mr. Brown, Jalon Brown. Is that who you are?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And the court does find probable cause for the charge of battery, domestic violence. In your case, I am ordering a $500 bond. I further am ordering you to possess no weapons or firearms as a condition of bond, and that you surrender any weapons or firearms to law enforcement within 24 hours of release. You're entitled to a one-time visit in the presence of law enforcement to recover any personal effects and belongings. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, did you say no contact?
Yes, no contact whatsoever.
And I will waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, as to Timothy Burgess, the court does find probable cause for battery, domestic violence. Bond is set at $500. No contact provision. Defendant must surrender all weapons or firearms to law enforcement within 24 hours of release and possess no firearms or weapons as a condition of bond. Miguel Davis. And are you waiving on that one?
Yes, Your Honor. However, I would ask that he is able to be screened for pretrial release.
It already says does not qualify.
Oh, I don't have that on mine, Your Honor. It just said inmate not interviewed. I'm sorry.
Mine shows that he does not qualify, therefore the court will, his medical court will order a bond of $500. Possess no weapons or firearms as a condition of release and surrender any in his possession to law enforcement. I have no contact whatsoever with the victim, with a one-time visit being allowed in the presence of law enforcement. Rondell DuBose.
Yes, ma'am.
The court does find probable cause in your case for battery, domestic violence, and I am ordering that you have no contact whatsoever with the victim. and that you possess no firearms or weapons as a condition of bond and surrender any in your possession to law enforcement within 24 hours. You are entitled to a one-time visit in the presence of law enforcement to recover any personal effects and belongings. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
The bond amount?
500. 500, yes. Mario Garcia. Mr. Garcia? Are you Mr. Garcia? All right, the court does find probable cause for the charge of battery, domestic violence. Oh, sorry. Ma'am, I need you to raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Deanna Bayerga, last name Baerga.
All right, Ms. Verga, the attorneys may have some questions for you regarding this case.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How do you know the defendant?
He's the father of my child.
Has something like this happened before?
Yes, but not in a long time.
Okay.
I need you to speak up for me.
Yes, but not in a long time.
Were drugs or alcohol involved in this incident?
No.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
While this case is pending, would you like to have contact with him?
Yes.
Do you live together?
Yes, we do.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Any questions, Ms. George?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, the court does find probable cause for the charge of battery, domestic violence. In light of the victim's testimony, the court will order no hostile contact with the victim. However, sir, if you have any firearms or weapons in your possession, you must surrender them within 24 hours of your release and possess no firearms or weapons. $500. Bond is $500. Ms. Khadijah Jones. Ms. Jones, the court does find probable cause for the charge of battery in your case, and I am ordering a bond of $500 in your case, ma'am.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
she does qualify for pretrial release. Given that she has no convictions on her record, I would ask for straight pretrial release.
That's fine. I'll order pretrial release, ma'am, and as a condition of pretrial release, I am ordering that you possess no firearms or weapons. I am ordering that you have no contact with the victim. I will allow a visit, a one-time visit to recover any personal effects and belongings.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Be blessed.
You too, ma'am. Mr.
Ramyar.
uh,
Ramyar Azad.
Mr. Ramyar, I'll just call you Mr. Ramyar. The court does find probable cause for the charge of battery, domestic violence, and I will order a bond of $500. I'm ordering as a condition of bond that you have no contact with the victim and that you possess no firearms or weapons and surrender any in your possession to law enforcement within 24 hours. Further, I'm ordering or allowing a one-time visit in the presence of law enforcement to recover any personal effects and belongings. Thank you. Donna McCoy Carver. Ms. McCoy Carver. Ma'am, the court does find probable cause for the charge of battery, and I am ordering a bond of $500. I am ordering that you possess no weapons or firearms and surrender any of your possession to law enforcement as a condition of bond. Further, you are allowed a one-time visit in the presence of law enforcement to recover any personal effects and belongings. And thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Jonathan Miranda. Mr. Miranda? All right, apparently there's a witness in this case. Ma'am, I do need you to raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Kayla Schaefer, SCHAFER.
Can you spell that again, just your last name?
SCHAFER.
Thank you. Ms. Schaefer, the attorneys may have some questions to ask you about this case.
Okay.
Good morning, Ms. Schaefer.
Morning.
How do you know the defendant?
It's my best friend.
And has something like this happened before? Were drugs or alcohol involved in this incident?
What was the question what was the answer to the last question? Has something like this happened before?
No, it's never happened before.
No drugs or alcohol?
Alcohol, yes.
Alcohol,
Yes.
okay. Are you afraid of him?
No.
While this case is pending, would you like to have contact with him?
Yes.
Do you live together?
No.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. At this time, the court does find probable cause for the charge of battery, dating violence. I'll order that you have no hostile contact with the victim. Actually, I'm going to order no contact with the victim. I just feel better about no contact in this case. I don't know.
Your Honor, I would ask for a no hostile contact, given that they do not reside together.
Did she say boyfriend or friend? Is he your boyfriend or your friend?
We're best friends, not boyfriend.
Not boyfriend? Okay. Well, was there something going on in this case that was a little odd? I don't know if I want the two of you having contact with each other for a while. I'm going to do the no contact. Y'all need to stay away from each other for a while and try to get on a different track. Because obviously, when you're together, there's something that happens that should not be happening. So no contact. You can live without her, and she can live without you. For a while. And maybe at the time when you finally can come back together again, then the toxicity will be over and you all can be like true best friends and not at each other's throat. So I'm going to order no contact. $500. Possess no firearms or weapons. Surrender any firearms or weapons to law enforcement as a condition of bond. Mr. Thompson, D'Angelo, the court does find probable cause in your case for battery.
Your Honor, given that he qualifies, I would ask for pretrial release.
The court will order pretrial release in this case and order that you have no contact with the victim, that you possess no firearms or weapons, and surrender any in your possession to law enforcement within 24 hours. You can go back to the home within in the presence of law enforcement to recover any private or personal belongings.
Okay, how do I do that?
In the presence of law enforcement.
Okay.
Go with you.
I have a question also.
Your Honor, you ordered to maintain separate residences because he states she doesn't live there.
What are you asking me?
If you could order to maintain separate residences, so that way if she's not there, he can go back to live at the residence. He states she doesn't live there, she's gone.
I'm gonna go with the no contact.
Okay.
So if she's gone, then there'll be no contact.
So she's gone, you're fine. You can go, that's it. I didn't know if you had a no return. I couldn't recall if you ordered a no return. That's why I asked for the main.
I ordered no contact.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
So if she's already gone, then there'll be no contact.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Are you Mr. Yang Zishan?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the court finds probable cause for the charge of battery, domestic violence, and I will order a $500 bond, order that you possess no weapons or firearms as a condition of your bond, and surrender any in your possession to law enforcement within 24 hours of release. You can go back to the residence one time in the presence of law enforcement to retrieve any personal effects and belongings, and thank you, sir. No contact with the victim whatsoever. All right, is that it?
Bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of Bond court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.
And for the record, the court is also appointing the public defender on all cases, unless the public defender advises the court of some type of conflict or otherwise advises the court not to appoint them. Are you Demetric Marine?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you're charged of trespass, and the court does find probable cause for that charge.
Your Honor, the offer is a withhold of adjudication, credit time served. I did speak to Ms. Marine. He would like to enter a plea of no contest and accept the state's offer.
All right, the court will accept the plea of no contest at this time.
And Your Honor, I would ask that you take no action on his out on bond, given he accepted the plea from the state, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ms. Marine, is this your signature here at the bottom of this plea form?
Yes.
Did you read this plea form, sir, in its entirety before you signed it?
Yes.
Did you have any questions about anything contained on this plea form?
No.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs and medicine at this time?
No.
Are you over the age of 18?
Yes.
I've reviewed your file. There's a sufficient factual basis. You're alert, you're intelligent. I'll withhold adjudication of guilt, order credit for time served, and mandatory court costs, which must be paid within 180 days of your release. I am ordering your release as to this charge. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
You have the right to appeal the sentence. If you wish to appeal, you must do so in writing within 30 days of today's date. With regard to the monetary amounts, you need to pay them at the clerk of court. And if you have any trouble making the payment, you can request an extension of time through the clerk of courts. You may exit for your paperwork.
You got 1 day time, sir.
1 day credit for time served. Yes, sir. Marcos Lugo Maldonado. Mr. Maldonado. Let me see here. The court does find probable cause for the charge of DUI.
Your Honor, I think, oh, okay, he needs an interpreter.
Oh, interpreter?
Yes, Your Honor.
There we go.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Rafael Barrera, State Certified Court Interpreter. I have been previously sworn.
Good morning. This is Marcos Lugo Maldonado, case number 2022 CT 579AO.
Thank you, Your Honor. If you allow me just a moment to connect to the headsets and confirm, Judge.
Oh, sure.
Your Honor, the interpreter can confirm the defendant is able to hear through the headsets.
All right, Mr. Lugo Maldonado, raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Yes.
All right, sir. The court does find probable cause for the offense of DUI, driving under the influence. I'm ordering bond to stay set at $500. All right, there are no other conditions. You're excused, sir.
What was that?
I found probable cause for DUI and state the bond at $500. Do you have a question?
No.
Okay, then you can step outside. Does this person need the interpreter too? Mr. Interpreter, the next case is Pedro Macedo Cruz, case number 2022 CT 581AO.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, raise your right hand to be.
Can confirm the defendant is able to hear through the headsets,
All
Judge.
right, thank you. Raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Macedo Cruz, I do find probable cause for the charge of driving without a valid driver's license, and I'm setting bond in your case at $250. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. You can exit for your paperwork. And the next one. Okay. Mr. Interpreter, this one is Isaias Anselmo Mejia Lopez, case number 2022 CT 585AO. And
Your Honor, the interpreter can confirm the defendant is able to hear through the headsets, Judge.
all right, Mr. Mejia Lopez, raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Mejia Lopez, the court does find probable cause for the, you can put your hand down now, sir. The court finds probable cause for the offense of DUI. And the court setting bond in your case at $1,000.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. You can exit for your paperwork. All right, Mr. Interpreter, this is Kevin Nunez Herrera, case number 2022 CF 118880. So raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You can put your hand down now. Sir, the court is finding probable cause as follows. Count 1, DUI with serious bodily injury to another. Bond is going to stay set at $10,000. The court is finding probable cause for driving without a license and causing death or serious bodily injury with the vehicle. Bond is set at $150. And the court is finding probable cause for the count 3, driving while your license was suspended with death or serious bodily injury, and bond is set at $150. Furthermore, the court is ordering as a condition of your bond that you possess and consume no alcohol, that you not drive a motor vehicle. And the court is further revoking the bond and case number 2021 CT 8338AO and setting bond at no bond in that case.
And Your Honor, if we're not appointed on the out on bond, can you appoint us on that case? I don't believe we are.
It has an attorney,
Oh, okay.
Carlos Ivanor.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make.
So So it does have an attorney noted on here, so
Okay.
we'll just go with that. Thank you, sir. You can go ahead on and exit for your paperwork. Mr. Interpreter, that's it for the interpreter cases.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Have a good morning.
Can somebody access the BRC and the video? Like if I'm my law clerk, can she access this the way we do in the courtroom? I'll see how I can pull up the BRC. Interpreter, all I see is.
Yes.
Are you Mr. Merrick?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You're here for an arraignment. You're charged with criminal mischief with damage of more than $200. How do you wish to enter your plea? Does public defender represent him?
No, Your Honor. I would ask that you appoint us, and I'll enter a plea of not guilty.
All right, sir. I am going to appoint the public defender in this case to represent you. Enter a plea of not guilty, and it will be set for pretrial conference.
Division 82, pre-trial conference is March 22nd, 9 a.m., courtroom 9B.
Okay. Here. Christy Burns.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
All right, Ms. Burns. The court has reviewed your file and I find probable cause for the charge of criminal mischief. Bond will remain set at $500. And I also am ordering you not return to the location where this incident occurred.
I live there, ma'am. That's my address. But across the street where the cars is, I don't live there.
Well, you can go to your house,
Yes, ma'am.
but not to the house where the vehicles were.
Yes, ma'am. It's on the side of the road. Yes, ma'am.
Well,
Don't go over
just
there.
don't go.
Yes, ma'am.
All right?
Yes, ma'am.
And have no contact with the victim. You
Miss
understand?
George and my dad. Or my brother Chris, that's fine. I won't go around them. They don't come to my house no more.
Okay, have no verbal contact, no contact by email, text message, phone calls, no contact whatsoever. You understand?
Yes, ma'am. Can they give me my son back? They took my son, my brothers.
Ma'am, that's not something that I am going to be able to address. I'm asking that you communicate with your attorney about anything related to your son, okay?
Okay.
Yasmin Farouk? All right, are you waiving on that one?
Yes, Your Honor, I will
Court
waive.
does find probable cause for battery, bond remains set at $1,000. No contact with the victim. Possess no weapons, possess no firearms, and surrender any weapons or firearms to law enforcement within 24 hours. One visit, well, actually, this happened at a hotel.
I would still ask for the one-time return.
All right, one-time visit allowed in the presence of law enforcement to retrieve any personal effects and belongings. George Ortiz Torres.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. The court does find probable cause for trespass on property.
Your Honor, the offer from the state is an adjudication, credit time served, and no return to 3025 Curry Ford Road. And I did speak to Mr. Ortiz. He would like to accept the state's offer and answer a plea of no contest.
All right. That's fine.
He has 2 days time served, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ortiz, is this your signature here at the bottom of this plea form that was handed to me?
Yes.
Sir, did you read this plea form in its entirety before you signed it?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medicine this morning?
No.
Do you understand that a conviction on this case will subject you to being deported if you're not a United States citizen?
Yes.
I reviewed your file. There's a sufficient factual basis. You're alert, you're intelligent. I will adjudicate you guilty. Order 2 days in jail with credit for the 2 days you already served. I order that you not return to 3025 Curry Ford Road as a condition of this plea, that you pay mandatory court costs within 180 days of your release from incarceration. I'm releasing you as to this charge. If you have any trouble making the payment, you can report to the clerk of courts and ask for an extension of time. Do you have any questions?
No.
You have the right to appeal the sentence. If you wish to appeal, you must do so in writing within 30 days of today's date. Thank you. You may exit. Robert Scott Stinson. Mr. Stinson, the court finds probable cause for the charge of petty theft in your case. And, bond is set at $250 in that case. And as well, sir, pretrial release has been revoked in case number 2021 CF 1371180. And bond is set, I'll set bond at 0, no bond.
Your Honor, I would ask that you set a bond. This case occurred in October 19th of 2021, and the state still has not filed on it. So I would just ask that you set a bond on that amount. He was out on pretrial release.
State, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor. He was arrested October 19th, and formal charges have not been filed yet.
All right, that will be granted, and I'll set a bond at $1,000.
Thank you.
Your Honor, with regard to the new arrest, I would also ask for no return.
Yes, ma'am. The court is ordering that you not return to the location where this incident occurred at as a condition of your bond.
Yes, ma'am.
Keith Watkins. Mr. Watkins, is that who you are?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Watkins, sir, you're charged with trespass on property after a warning, and I do find probable cause for that charge, and I'll set bond in this case at $250.
Your Honor, the offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, no return to 902 South Orange Avenue. I did speak to Mr. Watkins. He would like to enter a plea of no contest and accept the state's offer.
Right, and the court will accept a plea of no contest in this case.
He has 2 days' time, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Watkins, is this your signature here at the bottom of this plea form?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
You gotta say it louder.
Yes.
Mr. Watkins, did you read the plea form before you signed it?
Yeah.
Did you have any questions about anything contained on that document?
No.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs or medicine at this time?
No.
Do you understand that a conviction on your case will subject you to being deported if you're not a United States citizen?
Yeah.
There is a sufficient factual basis to accept your plea. You are alert, you're intelligent. I'll adjudicate you guilty and order 2 days in jail with credit for the 2 days you already served, in order that you not return to 902 South Orange Avenue as a condition of your plea. I'm ordering mandatory court costs to be paid in 180 days. You may request an extension of time from the clerk of court if you're unable to pay it. You have the right to appeal the sentence. If you wish to appeal, you must do so in writing within 30 days of today's date. Any questions?
Yeah. No. No.
All right, thank you. You can exit. Mr. Robert Reed,
Yes, ma'am.
court. Sir, you were picked up for failure to appear. Bond stays set at $2,000 in your case.
It's going to stay that way.
Marjorie Albania Santos.
Be bonded, Your Honor.
Previously bonded. Alex Zachary Kavanaugh.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Kavanaugh, you're picked up for failure to appear on a violation of probation and bond will remain set at no bond in your case.
Excuse me, I'd like to say that, myself in.
Bond remains set at no bond, sir. You have a public defender representing you in the case. Anything you want to say, you need to say it to your lawyer. Yanan Lee,
She bonded, Your Honor.
previously bonded. David Mathis. Are you David Mathis?
No.
No? David Mathis? You don't have a David Mathis on the docket? All right, well, I have a paperwork for David Mathis.
Booking number is 22002338.
See if we can find him.
He bonded.
Oh, he bonded? All right, we found him. He bonded. All right, Rando Robles Sanchez. All right, the court does find probable cause for DUI, and the court will set bond in your case at, will stay set at 500 or PTR in your case. Thank you, sir. Michael Archer.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Archer, you were picked up for failure to appear and bond stays set at no bond on that case. You also have a second case of possession of drug paraphernalia, and bond will be set to $250 on the second case.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
at this time, the state announces a no information on the second case, which is 2022 MM661.
All right, as to the second case, then the state is, counsel the order setting a bond, as the state has no info of that case. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Jackie Centel Brown. Jackie Brown.
Is that your name?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Brown, the court finds probable cause for carrying a concealed firearm and bond in your case. Hold on one moment. Bond in your case is set at $1,000. The court is ordering that you possess no firearms or weapons as a condition of your bond. Thank you. Miguel Guerrero. Miguel Guerrero. Mr. Guerrero, the court finds probable cause for the following charges. Count 1, false imprisonment. Bond is set at $3,000. Battery, bond is set at $500. Resisting an officer without violence, bond is set at $150. The court is ordering that you have no contact whatsoever with the victim. You possess no firearms or weapons as a condition of your bond. The court will allow a one-time visit in the presence of law enforcement to retrieve any personal belongings and surrender any firearms or weapons within 24 hours of your release. Thank you. Brad Johnson.
Morning, y'all.
Good morning. All right, you're picked up for failure to appear, and bond is going to stay set at $1,000 in your case.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
That's it?
Thank you so much. You're welcome. You too. Stephen John Mark Jones.
He bonded, Your Honor.
Previously bonded. Stephen Hoyt Conduras.
He bonded, Your Honor.
Previously bonded. On that, Honduras, when he bonded, did they put a condition of no firearms or weapons? Uh-oh, because that was part of what was going to be, what the original judge wanted ordered. But he bonded before that, he had a. All right, that's fine. All right. Omar Lameda Romero. Mr. Lameda Romero, the court finds probable cause as follows. Count 1, grand theft, third degree, bond is set at $500. Count 2, battery, bond is set at $500. Count 3, resisting a merchant, bond is set at $150. Count 4, criminal mischief, bond is set at $150. The court is ordering that you have no contact whatsoever with the victim, that you not return to the location where this incident occurred as a condition of your bond. You possess no firearms or weapons, also as a condition of bond, and surrender any firearms or weapons in your possession to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Can I also ask that there be no contact with the co-defendant?
Yes. Who is the co-defendant a relative or friend? I'm inclined to order it if it's a friend, but if it's a relative, then I might not.
It's his girlfriend.
Well, that's kind of like almost like a relative.
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't want to order no contact.
Thank you. Oh, I don't know.
He can go. McFerrin, Perry, Mason. Mr. Mason. The court does find probable cause as to count 1, possession of 3,4-methylene, methamphetamine, MDMA, ecstasy. Bond is set at $150. Possession of cocaine, count 2, bond is $150. And count 3, driving while your license was revoked as a habitual offender. Bond is set at $2,500. The court does revoke the bond that is currently set in 2022 CF 59580. And bond is set at no bond on each count.
Your Honor, the state has not filed on that charge either. I would ask that if you are inclined to revoke, you revoke in double.
What says the state? As to 2022 CF 1169AO.
Your Honor, defense is correct that the state has not filed yet, but he was just arrested on January 16th.
I'll set bond at no bond. No bond. Ricardo Damon McClendon. Is that who you are? Okay, Mr. McClendon, the court does find probable cause for the charge of carrying a concealed firearm, and bond in your case is set at $1,000. You're ordered to possess no firearms or weapons as a condition of bond and surrender any in your possession to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Thank you, sir. Emmanuel Moore. Hi, are you Emmanuel Moore?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
Okay. Mr. Moore, the court finds probable cause for carrying a concealed firearm. Bond is set at $2,500. Count 2, possession of cannabis. Bond is set at $150. Count 3, possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver. Bond is set at $150. Count 4, possession of paraphernalia. Bond is set at $100. The court does revoke the bond that was currently set in 2020 CF 12038AO and sets bond at no bond on both count 1 and count 2. Jonathan Rashad Passmore. Mr. Passmore, is that Mr. Passmore? Yes, ma'am. Who is that? Mr. Passmore, is that who you are? Hello? Is your name Passmore?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Passmore, I do find probable cause for count 1, possession of drugs without a controlled substance without a prescription. Bond is set at $1,500. And petty theft, second degree or more, bond is set at $150.
Your Honor, he has, my client is currently homeless. He has not had a chance. I don't know if he qualified. My form says he hasn't been interviewed for pretrial.
Mine says no.
Okay.
It does say inmate not interviewed, but it also says no. So I don't know what that means.
Does he not qualify pretrial?
Give me 1 second, I'm gonna look over his history record. But he hasn't been interviewed.
Okay.
That's correct.
I would just ask for bond or pretrial release if he qualifies.
There are convictions in 2021, prior theft convictions, a battery conviction, trespass.
And I would just ask that you consider, Your Honor, it appears he was still in socks. It has been cold. He's homeless.
I'm not going to consider it. No, ma'am. No.
I apologize, Your Honor, just for my clarification. What is the bond amounts, please? Or the bond amount?
$1,500 on the count 1 and $150 on count 2.
Your Honor, due to the history, we won't be able to qualify him for pretrial.
All right, thank you.
And I just asked for no return, Your Honor?
Oh, yes, ma'am. The court will also order no return to the location where this incident occurred as a condition of the bond. Donald Vanderily.
He bonded, Your Honor.
Okay. He had 2 cases. He bonded, okay, all right. I didn't have the PC paperwork for the first case anyway. Christina Wall?
Renee Sue Wall.
Oh, okay, Renee Sue. Miss Christina Renee Sue Wall, the court does find probable cause for the charge of grand theft, 3rd degree, and bond will stay set at $500 in your case.
Your Honor, I ask for no return.
The court will grant that and order no return to the location where this incident occurred as a condition of the bond. Thank you, ma'am. Derek Wilkerson. Mr. Wilkerson. Sir, the court does find probable cause for the charge of grand theft motor vehicle. Bond stays set at $1,000. The court is revoking bond in 2020 CF 715180 and ordering no bond.
Your Honor,
The court is revoking bond in 2020 CF 115780 and ordering no bond. Yes, ma'am?
on the out on bonds, he has been deemed incompetent to proceed, and he does not meet the criteria for commitment.
Oh,
So I would just ask that you take no action on the out on bonds.
what says the state?
No objection.
All right, the court will grant that, and the court will take no action on the, the 2 cases that I announced earlier.
Bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of bond court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want bond court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.